Back again, trying to break out and stay out. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather. If I sound a little scratchy, I'm here in my new office. We moved out to a different city. I'm still decorating. But for my last video, I want to talk about what has happened since taking a few of these tests from the Army and the Air Force. So first I want to say, why the United States Air Force? So a lot of people have that thought of, man, you need to join the Air Force. Don't join the Army. Don't join the Marines. Don't join the Navy. You need to do the Air Force. They're more luxury. They got all the money. Everything's more prestige. You get to live the life. This is where all the smart people go. And if you like planes, the Air Force is for you, right? But in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I feel like that you make your own destiny with whatever branch you go to. You can be at the Navy, the Marines, the Guard, it doesn't matter. You make your own life. So it just depends on what branch you want to go to. I don't necessarily say Air Force is more luxury. I don't know. I'm not in there and I can't speak for the other branches. But I will say, whatever branch you decide to go into, or if I decide to go into something, then you just make the best of it for what you got. So let's talk about the process. Now, the process for joining the Air Force, going in as a commissioned officer, is a few things. So, of course, you want to go talk to your recruiter in the local area that you're in. I'm out here in Georgia, so I'll find a local recruiter in Georgia. And what they pretty much ask you is a bunch of pre-qualifying questions, like what's your age, your height, your weight, have you ever been arrested? If you got tattoos, all these different kind of pre-qualifying questions. And that's pretty much going to tell the recruiter if you are even worth the time going through the process, because they don't want to go with somebody and then you don't meet the pre-requirements and then they just waste your time and then waste their time also. So it's a bunch of pre-qualifying questions that you got to answer when you're talking to the recruiter before you go forward in the process. Now, there's a few ways that you can join the Air Force officer side commission. I believe there's about 4 ways. I got some notes here. So you got one way you could go through OTS, which is Officer Training School. You can go to the United States Air Force Academy. You have Air Force ROTC in college, or you can go through enlisted side and then work your way up to become an officer. You still have to take, of course, that officer test to get to that point. But those are 4 different ways for doing that. For me, I have a bachelor's degree, mechanical engineering, and what I had to do was I would take the AFOQT. It's like a tongue twister, man. It's crazy. But the Air Force Officer Qualification Test, that's what you need to do. So the process is going to go, you're going to have your initial qualification questions here. That's going to be number 1. And then number 2, you're going to have to take the AFOQT. Now, after you take the AFOQT and meet the requirements, then you have to go and get your medical clearance. After the medical clearance, then you complete your background check, and then you're going to have all your paperwork and documents sent in along with your 3 to 5 letters of recommendation. Make sure you have those from some credible sources, because you get those recommendations. If they carry a lot of weight, then that can help your process as far as becoming an officer in the United States Air Force. And then the last thing is going through the selection board, have the interview with them. And then from that point, you get ready to go to OTS and do your thing, man. Now, on that AFOQT, in order for them to even go farther in the process after that, before you even go to do your medical examination and everything else after that, you do want to make sure you meet the requirement scores for the AFOQT. So the scores that all candidates must have minimum of, you have your quantitative score, which should be a 10. You have your verbal score, which should be a 15. Those are the 2 things. And of course, you got the pilot, navigator, and all those other sides. But unless you're trying to be a pilot, fly some planes, you're going to have really high scores on the pilot and navigator side. But as far as the verbal and quantitative, you got to make sure that you meet those requirements there. Now, when you're taking the test, it's a series of different sections. There's a lot of different questions. What you want to do is, because I'm not going to get into details because I did take the test and I will get into you with that. I'm not allowed to say exactly what was on the test, so I won't do that, but I will give a kind of maybe some tips and tricks that may help you for whenever you're taking this test. So my first thing is, whenever you're taking this test, or preparing for the test, actually, I'm going to put some links in the description below so you can see what's all going to be on the test. It's stuff all over the internet, so you can find some things. But make sure when you taking practice tests online that you find that you subtract some time off of what you're taking. And this is not just specifically for this test. I'm a person, I'm not a good test taker, and it's a lot of pressure build up whenever time's coming to you. You're sitting there doing the work and the time's ticking and you feel it, and then a teacher or something like in school or college should be like, you got 1 minute, and it's like, damn it, I gotta hurry up and get this. So you know how that feeling is, right? So the people who know what I'm talking about, some people are good test taker, I'm not. So for the AFOQT, make sure that when you're doing the practice test online, you take some minutes off. If a section is like so many questions here and it says you got 10 minutes to answer the questions, I would take off 2 to 3 minutes on that and try to get through the questions quick, fast, so you can get a full understanding and you'll know where you fall in as far as the time goes for your practice test. Now, I have sad news. Unfortunately, I did not pass the Air Force officer qualification test. Well, Ray, man, you got a mechanical engineer degree, man. You're supposed to be smart. Well, look, check this out. I don't care how smart you are. You bet to be good at taking tests, because taking tests and actually knowing the knowledge on the test is two completely different things. So I didn't pass. It was crazy because I missed the verbal section by 4 points. 4 points. I did good on the pilot and the navigator section. I did extremely well on those sections. I did good on the quantitative section. I did good on every other section. And I missed 4 points on the verbal side in order to pass the test and meet the requirements. It was pretty frustrating. I ain't gonna lie. I was upset, but you know, it is what it is. It's not over. You know, you can take the test after 6 months. You can take the test. If you don't want to wait that long, I consider a different branch. You know, you don't have to take like an officer qualification test for different branches. You more got to take the ASVAL, make a certain score, and go to officer school. And then through that school is when you get tested, not necessarily taking a test before you go to the officer school. So I didn't pass the test. It's all good. You know, like I said, I was 4 points short. Everything is good. I talked to a recruiter. There really wasn't nothing we could do. Can't do a waiver for the minimums. And, you know, it is what it is. You know, you wait 6 months, you retake the test, and you try it all over again. You only get 2 times. You only get 2 shots to take it. If you go out the second time, they do waivers for a third time, but, you know, it may be rare, very rare occasions people get waivers to take it a third time, but the second time, you only get to take it twice. So it is what it is. Like I said in my other video, though, the good news is I did pass. I took the ASVAL for the Army. You got to have different options. I took the ASVAL for the Army, made a good score on it, passed. You have a minimum score that you got to make for any job that you want to do, and you'll be able to pretty much select whatever job you want to. Since I'm going the officer route, though, you are not able to pretty much choose what you want to do going in as an officer. Once you go through officer candidate school, you are based off how you performed in that school. They will put you where you need to be as far as the Army goes. If you do enlisted, then you get to choose and then go to officer. But I have a degree already, so I don't really see a point to doing enlisted and then going to an officer instead of just going through officer first. So soon enough, one of these days throughout the months, I ain't gonna say the exact date, keep that a surprise. I'll be going and get ready for basic training, get ready for Army officer school, but that's gonna be some time. What I do want to do for you guys is I do have some bonus that I want to explain to you guys. Let's get into that. So the first bonus I want to throw out there for you, just in case you guys didn't know, what I want to do is show you what Google has done with their algorithm. So if you just go to Google, you can go to the Google website, or you can type in the search bar, veterans, or not veterans, you want to do jobs for veterans, right? And what happened is it comes up into your MOS code. So let's just use, I had something pulled up here. Let's do this right here, 36A, financial manager. So if I type in 36A here, I hit enter, and what it's gonna pull up is things that you can do that's related to your MOS that you had in the military when you were serving for the country, that you can convert or have relation to in the civilian world. So if you look here, you got treasurer, and it shows you the median. This for just my area, 133,000 a year. You got different positions here: treasurer, corporate financial analysis, treasury manager, all these different types of jobs that can relate to your MOS. And I think that's really cool for people who don't really know what they can apply for based off what they learned in their military time. So this is just, everything may not be accurate and precise, but it definitely gives you a good idea. And what I would recommend is definitely being prepared for your future. Know what you want to do in your future. Make sure you do what you need to do in the military, serve your time, and get the necessary requirements so you can convert all your knowledge and your training and your expertise into the civilian world and be able to have a good job on there, unless you plan on retiring from the military. And if you do, that's perfectly fine. But for those who want to do the civilian world, here's something you can look at if you're not looking to work for the feds. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, sorry I'm not outside. I'm in the office working on some stuff here. Not feeling too well, but it's all good. Got to keep moving. I got a little sinus cold. I haven't been sick in like 4 or 5 years. This is crazy. A little sinus mess up. You see how big my nose is. But guys, make sure, what I want to do for you guys is I have some PDFs. If you want to do AFOQT, if you want to go in as an officer in the Air Force, I have some documents that I can send you for free. I'm not looking to get no money from you or nothing like that. This is some practice tests that I got offline that I really paid for, and I want to give it to you for free. I want to help you out. So if you want to decide to go into the officer for Air Force, I have those documents. All you got to do is just make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment on this video. Let me know what your options are. Let me know what you want to do, and make sure that you have a plan for things, because you don't want to just keep all your eggs in one basket. But go ahead, subscribe, like the video, and I want to send this information out to you guys and get you started on the path if you choose to go through the military. Ray Woods out, and remember guys, break out and stay out.